Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We join you on this Thursday evening after a rather matter-of-fact Knicks Game 5 victory. Not a lot of drama. One they led start to finish. And I got to be honest here, folks, okay? Number one, I thought the Knicks would win tonight. History will show you in this kind of series that when the team that's leading wins game 4 and comes to the other guy's court for game 5, usually they lose this game. Historically, they lose this game. And I got to be honest, I thought the Knicks did some decent things tonight. I thought Towns played well. I thought stupid fouls, but that's part of his game. Okay. I thought Brunson did what he had to do tonight. Typical Brunson game from that standpoint. But let's be honest, okay? I'm going to just got to be honest. And I did think we'd go back to Indiana for game 6. I thought that would happen. Indiana brought zero intensity to this game tonight from the start, which I got to admit, I expected a little of that, but not to the extent I saw. I mean, where was Halliburton tonight? I mean, he didn't want to shoot the ball unless he was absolutely in the position where he had to shoot it. 2 for 7 from the floor. Do you know that tonight, one Indiana Pacer starter took more than 10 shots? One Indiana Pacer finished the game in double figures, and that was Siakam, who had a bad game. I mean, Siakam wound up 5 for 13 from the floor, a ho-hum 15 points. Smith, who I got to figure still on a gimpy ankle, played 15 minutes, went 1 for 8. Nemhard had another quiet game. Turner was in foul trouble, played 24 minutes. Halliburton, I guess he figured this was a night off after his vintage game 4. I mean, this was, just a joke. 2 for 7 from the floor, 8 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. After the game the other night, I mean, the great player does this night in, night out, night in, night out. Doesn't take games off. This was a game that I thought Carlisle would throw a lot of the bench at him. They made a couple of cosmetic runs. Knicks got sloppy with the ball a couple of times and let them peak at the game. They cut 20 back to 10 before the Knicks got 7 straight points. The game was never in any doubt. And I got to be honest, okay? I got to be fair here. Indiana mailed this game in. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, Mathurin wound up with 23 points. He's a scorer, okay? He's going to go to another team eventually, and he's going to be a guy who scores 25 points a game. He's that kind of player. He's just a flat-out scorer. He gets to the foul line. I mean, he got to the 9 tonight again, 9 for 9 from the foul line off the bench. This guy played 24 minutes, scored 23 points. Okay? McConnell, who only had a cameo in the second half, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But again, they didn't give him any major play in the second half. Toppin wound up taking double-digit shots. Mathurin took double-digit shots. Siakam took double-digit shots. No one else in the game took double-digit shots. None of the starters took double-digit shots. Very, very lackluster effort. Solid win by the Knicks. This wasn't about the Knicks being anything special. This wasn't about the Knicks giving you some great defensive intensity. This was basically the fact that a team up 3-1 said, you know what? We're here, but we're not here. And I got to be honest, they gave you no intensity in this game. I was stunned at how little intensity there was in the game. Listen, if the Knicks had handed it to them, they would have grabbed it, but they weren't going to go all out. And off this win. And I understand now that you're dreaming the dream because you got to win. You got to win in Indiana. In Indiana, we got back here and now got Game 5, and now you're thinking, hey, all we have to do is go play a good game on the road and come back and play Game 7 here. That's fine. Okay. Okay. That's fine. But you know that Indiana is going to come out like crazy men in Game 6. Everything you lacked here tonight from them in terms of force, in terms of intensity, you're going to see from the get-go in Game 6. They're going to come out and they're going to push it. They didn't push the ball tonight. Now, the Knicks did some things better tonight. They didn't turn the ball over early in the game. Their overall numbers, I don't think, were great. I don't think they were great turnover-wise. Let me look at them. They had 15, but the Pacers had 20. Okay? Knicks shot 49%. Pacers got it up to 40, but didn't shoot like the Pacers usually shoot. Pacers got to the foul line. Neither team was great from 3, 10 for 30, 8 for 29. But this was a game that Indiana lived on the periphery of the game throughout. And the Knicks, Brunson in the first quarter, a good move without Brunson in the second quarter, good first half from Towns, who winds up with 17 and 10 at the half. Third quarter, Brunson goes out, gets a 15-point third quarter, doesn't have to do anything in the fourth quarter, winds up with 32. Towns, who was 17 and 10 at the half, winds up with, I think 24. Let me check it, but I'm pretty sure it was 24 for him, which is a solid game. 24 and 13, not a great second half. In foul trouble. Again, the stupid fouls. Bridges, quiet again, 12 points. OG, 3 for 14. It's either up, down. Hart gave you, it's 34 minutes. I would have rather started Hart and put Robinson back on the bench. He doesn't want to do that. I would rather do that for Game 6. I don't think he's going to do it, though. I think he's going to live this way. I don't like it. I would do it the other way because I think Robinson's more effective off the bench. He had a good game, though. He has 6 points and his 6 rebounds in 19 minutes of play. Didn't have to abuse him in the second half. Shamet and Wright came off for their couple of minutes. You even saw Achua came off and get a basket. The bottom line is it was a very matter-of-fact, down 3-1, go home and hold serve in a game that Indiana said, hey, we'll see you Saturday. And now the pressure right back square on Indiana. They don't want any part of coming back here for a Game 7. Yes, they have a Game 7 in their pocket, but the Knicks now know what this is going to take. It's going to take them to go give, I would say, about the best effort that they've given all year to win that Game 6. That's going to be a very hard game to win. If they do, they have a great chance to pull off what would be an all-timer, getting to the finals after being 3-1 down. They would have a great chance. Now, that doesn't make them automatic in Game 7. We know that. Indiana's sure proved they can win on the road. This is the first real bad game we've seen out of Indiana where it was just, we know they've been down and up and made comebacks, but this was just a lackluster effort from soup to nuts. I mean, it was as emblematic of what you saw from Halliburton as anything else. There's not a lot to analyze in this game here, okay? There really isn't. It's not like the Knicks uncovered something or did something. I would wonder what's up with Nesmith because now they could be just taking it easy with him tonight. Maybe he was a little tender. Maybe he felt a little tender. I don't know. He only played 15 minutes, and he went out of that first quarter very early. He was 1 for 8. He made 1 3. But, he plays superb defense on Brunson. The other guys don't. He does. And that's a big difference because he gets over the screens and does a very good job in that regard. But I would not take too much from this game if I'm the Knicks. What I would just say is, hey, we got a chance to go back and play a game 6. That's all we've been trying to do here since blowing game 1, losing game 2. The Knicks have been trying just to get an opportunity to see if they can win this series. And now it's not 3 games anymore. It's not 4 out of 5 anymore. It's 2 games. It's 2 games. It's a 2-game winning streak, but it's beating a team back-to-back that has not lost back-to-back games in the playoffs. Beating a team that is every bit as good as the Knicks and can give them problems. And again, you didn't see Indiana go pedal to the metal tonight. I thought you'd see a lot of the bench and a lot of pedal to the metal. You didn't get a lot of pedal to the metal tonight from the Knicks, from the Pacers. They played this game at the Knicks pace. I don't think they'll allow that to happen in game 6. That doesn't mean the Knicks can't go out there and get a big effort and do what they do, get up on the backboards, make some threes, and I believe they will give you a very good fight. I told you that there would be twists and turns in this series, even when they were down 2-0. I told you the series wasn't over. I thought the Knicks would win a game. I actually thought this series would go exactly how it's gone. I thought the Knicks would win 3. I thought the Pacers would win 4. I thought the Knicks would win 5. Now the Knicks have to win the game. That is going to be very, very hard to win. And that is game 6, Saturday night in Indiana. This is the game Indiana has to put the circle around. This is where they have to give the effort. And I'm telling you right now, Carlisle's going to give them an earful. I don't know if it'll be tonight. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but I guarantee it's coming. And he will have his team ready. And you won't see Halliburton taking, 7 shots again and playing the kind of game he did tonight. You won't see Nesmith playing 15 minutes again. You won't see Turner taking 3 shots in the game and having 2 rebounds. 3 shots and 2 rebounds. If you're Indiana, you take this and you throw it away. And you get ready for game 6. And that's what this whole thing is about. But the Knicks now have climbed to where it can happen. Is it going to be easy? No. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very difficult to do. It's going to take a terrific effort. It's going to take a special effort for them to win this game in Indiana. And that doesn't guarantee them anything but a game 7. Now, if they're playing a game 7 back in the Garden, would I like their chances after being down 3-1? I absolutely would. I would not count Indiana out by any stretch. I wouldn't count the underdog out in this series ever. These teams play those type of series. They play those types of meaningful games. There's a lot of twists and turns, as I told you from the beginning. There's a lot of twists and turns in their series all the time. And this one now has started to take on that same kind of look. So this one tonight, probably a little easier than you thought it would be. The Indiana effort, I would say almost embarrassing. If I were Indiana, if I were the brain trust, if I was Carlisle, I would be very unhappy with my team's effort tonight. Very unhappy with what I saw tonight. This was a passive, no intensity, no force game out of Indiana. And the Knicks took advantage of it and did what they had to do. and won the game going away, 111-94. And every time Indiana put a little scare in, the Knicks were able to jump away again. Whether it was dumb plays from Indiana, dumb mistakes, turnovers, bad shot, whatever. But the Indiana that takes the court Saturday night will not resemble the Indiana that took the floor tonight. And if you don't know that, well, you're in for a rude awakening because that's going to happen. Don't think you're going to get away that easy because you're not. But when this series was 2-0, you were dreaming about playing a Game 6. Now you got a chance to play a Game 6. They've battled back. See, they had to win this game tonight for their season. And yes, and I know there's a lot of commentary, and there is, and it's a fair one, that the Knicks, if they lose this series, will have blown a great opportunity because of what went on with Boston, because of the injuries and the terrible play from Cleveland, which was highly unexpected. When you have a team win like Cleveland did this year and put together two 15-game winning streaks and dominate in the regular season the way they did, and then partially by injuries, but partially by just terrible postseason performance, don't show up and lose the way they did. But it opened the avenue. Did I think the Knicks were going to beat Cleveland in the playoffs? I did not. And I thought they'd have to go through Cleveland to go to the championship, and they didn't. Did I think Oklahoma City would be sitting there? I absolutely did. But that's not a surprise to anybody. They are a 6-1 favorite against either team. 6-1 favorite against either team. Now, I can tell you this. I think the Knicks have a better chance against Oklahoma City than Indiana does. Not by a lot, but by a little. I just like certain things about that matchup with the Knicks better than I do against Indiana. I think either one would have a very tough time winning that series, but that's the story that we can talk about the final start a week from tonight. Will it be Indiana? They still have a cushion in this series. Will it be the Knicks? You can dream the dream, and that would be a sensational story that they would come back from 3 games down and win this series. Do they have a puncher's chance yet? Yes. I told you that from the beginning. They're resilient. They're at their best when they're back to the wall. But tonight, I don't want to throw bouquets at the Knicks too strongly because I really thought Indiana gave them no effort. And I thought that was disappointing. That's on Indiana. That's not on the Knicks. That's on Indiana. The Knicks did what they had to do. Towns did what he had to do. Brunson did what he had to do. The role players did what they had to do. And they won their game going away. That's all they could do. It's not their fault Indiana decided to take a pass on a lot of this game. And Halliburton was out to lunch. Hey, the bottom line is that's on Indiana. That's not on them. But don't think you're going to get another one of those because you're not. Now you're going to have the intensity and the force to match their intensity and their force, which is going to be strong, if not overwhelming. And they are going to try and push the pace as quickly as they can possibly and unrelenting as they can push the pace in that game. Because that's their advantage in this series, is to utilize their depth. Not to the point where their depth goes out and scores the kind of points that it did tonight. But that's on the offense just being inept. They scored 31, 42, 49, 55, 57 points off the bench tonight, Indiana. But that's because they didn't score in the starting lineup. They had one guy in double figures, and he had 15 points. Imagine that. One guy in double figures. That's Siakam. 8 points from Halliburton, 6 points from Nemhard, 5 points from Turner, 3 points from Nesmith. Are you kidding me? That was the game tonight. That will not be the game in Game 6. Now, it would have been really disappointing. And it would have been a really disappointing finish to this season if they had gone out tonight in front of the Garden Faithful and gone down. They didn't fall on the sword. There's no moral victories here. There's no moral victory in this series. Knicks were favored before the series started. They had home field. They had home court. They were favored. There's no moral victories in this series. But the series isn't over. But from the Knicks standpoint, there is still a lot of work to be done. I think the Knicks did a better job tonight of controlling pace. Now, a lot of that had to do with the Indiana not turning them over and not making baskets. The Knicks making baskets. So it did not allow Indiana a lot of time to run. But when they're on, they push it after makes. They get up the floor after makes. And that was not the case. You did not see vintage Indiana speed, intensity, force tonight in this game. And that's on them. So the season has a couple of more pages left in the book. Maybe there's a whole nother chapter in the book. Hey, when you get to Game 6, there's no reason not to dream. But do not for a second, not for 1 second, think it is going to be easy, because it is not. It is going to be very, very hard to do. And it will take that kind of effort. I would like to see Hart back in the starting lineup and Robinson off the bench. I think it's more efficient. I like the idea of the defensive unit. I like the idea of using those guys. I think they changed the tempo. I think they changed the pace. And if you notice, when those guys come in, they don't get hurt. Now, tonight, again, their numbers, I don't want to go home, but even in the first half and in the third quarter, those numbers were good. Shamet, plus. Wright, plus. Achua, plus. That's important. That's important. In the first half, Shamet was plus 10. Plus 10. That's big. They need that. They need to be able to change the pace, to slow the pace, to break the Indiana rhythm. Tibbs, he fell on this. He happened into this because of the foul trouble. Use it. I would rather utilize Robinson off the bench, because what I would like to do is, and I'm not saying he will do this, but I would put Hart back in the starting rotation, in the starting lineup for Game 6. I would play Towns the first 6 of the first quarter. Get him the ball out of the gate. Get him the ball. Let him be the focal point of the offense. Now, the second part of that first quarter, Brunson's in, Robinson's in, Towns is out. And then the start of the second quarter, Brunson's out and Towns is in. After that first 6-minute performance by Robinson, which is the second 6 minutes of the first quarter, you use him judiciously for 6 minutes at a time when you need him, and in the fourth quarter as needed. And I like the idea of bringing one scorer or two, but one is even okay because you can use McBride as a scorer, defender, put the three other guys, defender guys, three other defensive players, including Shamet Wright, on the floor with Towns, so that you have your premier scorer there who you can get the ball to and let him go. Because Towns can just drive it at this team, and they don't stop him. Now, he does commit these stupid fouls, either as these offensive fouls, these moving picks, these dumb fouls. I mean, you look at his fouls and you shake your head. You really do shake your head. He's got to be smarter than that. But I would like to see him. I think it's important that the Knicks at times change the tempo, control the tempo, and turn it into a different type of game with a defensive unit, even if it's for 2 or 3 minutes, because that breaks rhythm, and that's what you need to do. And I think that will be imperative in Game 6 and Game 7, if there is a Game 7. So that's the case. So tonight, I think we all would have been very disappointed if the Knicks hadn't won. They did win rather comfortably. The Indiana effort was lousy, and the Knicks go on to a win, which sets up a Game 6 in Indiana, which I think comes to the surprise of very few people. I think most people felt that the Knicks would find a way to win this game, and they did. And I really wasn't shocked that it was, more one-sided than I thought, although I did think Indiana would give a better effort, especially in the first half. I thought that Rick would call off the dogs and go to his bench, but he really picked his spots. Now, I don't push a lot of products. I mean, I don't, that. I've never have. I mean, I've never tried to sell you a whole lot of things. I'm not trying to sell you anything either. I'm just mentioning it because I was pleasantly surprised. My son Jack is home for the summer, obviously, from school. Before he goes back, and they, all three of them go back to school in the fall. He's working in one of Mike Rapoli's businesses this summer as an intern. And he brings me tonight this bar. Now, I'm not someone who eats this earthy, crunchy stuff, okay? It's just not my thing. It never has been. I always could do a better job eating. I used to eat late at night and do everything. I did everything wrong. Now it's easier when you don't keep that crazy schedule anymore. It's a lot easier. And as you get older, you just don't have the same appetite anymore. I know I don't, which is why, that and walking and playing a lot of golf, that's why I've been able to, take my weight down quite a bit from when I was at the Fan. I mean, when I was at the Fan, I was probably more than 50 pounds heavier. So I'd like to get under 200, which I haven't. I'm still about 228, 230. I'd like to get down to 205 or so if I could, little by little. I won't take any stuff. I won't take, I don't believe in all that stuff. I wouldn't take anything. If you can't walk and diet, then you know what? If you drink water, diet, and walk, and don't eat a lot of stuff or eat late at night, you'll do fine. That's all there is to it. I just don't seem to have the appetite that I used to, more than anything else. And I don't eat late at night, which I always did, which was the killer. I'd come back from a game. I'd be out late. I'd be up late. I'd be working. I wouldn't get home till 8:30, 9 o'clock. So that was a big problem. But tonight he's working for this one of Napoli's many, many companies, and he has a bunch for the summer. And he said, "Dad, you got to try this." So he brings me home. I'm like, I don't want to try. So me, I'm like, I don't like to try stuff. They always make fun of me in the house because I'm not daring when it comes to that. Like I eat the same things all the time. I don't like to try new things. And I don't like earthy, crunchy stuff. So I tried this bar today. It's called Junkless. Chewy, drizzled granola bars. And I'm thinking, I would never go into a store and pick up a granola bar in 1,000 years, ever. This thing is delicious. It's 130 calories. It's chewy, drizzled granola bar. Berries and cream is the flavor. It says real ingredients, less sugar, more taste, no fake stuff. It's called Junkless. You can get it at like Target or the grocery store, ShopRite or Stop and Shop or all, those kind of stores. Junkless. I don't know what it costs. I apologize. I don't know what anything costs. I really don't. That I don't do. I don't know. I have no idea. If you ask me like what a dozen eggs were, I have no idea. I go to the store to get like water, soda, things that my wife doesn't want to carry, so that I'll run in early in the morning and get soda and get big things of water, big things of soda. Other than that, that's get Snapple, stuff like that. Other than that, she does everything else. So, but this thing it's not big. It's 130 calories. And like I said, I would never eat a granola bar ever. But I had one before, and I got to tell you, I said, I got to mention on the show, this thing is really good. So check it out. I'm telling you, and I never recommend products ever. You know that. I really don't. If I recommend the product, it's good. Like I recommended Casamigos because number one, a good friend of mine and my racing partner, Lee Einslider, ran the company. But the tequila, everyone raved about it. People used to beg me to give it to them. They loved it. I mean, they would want it for Christmas. They would love it. I couldn't get enough from them. It was unbelievable. But Jack brought home these things, Junkless. It comes in a couple of different flavors. This one is berries and cream, chewy, drizzled granola bar. And I'm telling you, it is actually like really good. And I like sweet, I have a sweet tooth. So I like ice cream. I like Italian ices. I like stuff like that. Okay. I'm not a big cookies person, never have been, but this is delicious and it's good for you. So, hey, Junkless is the name of it. And it'll be a hit because, hey, Rapoli doesn't have anything but hits. I mean, that's so, his background and all the different stuff he has, but he's involved in a million different things. And this is one of his deals. So check it out. Weird name, obviously, Junkless, but it's Junkless. And you know what? It's really good. It really is. It's delicious. So check it out. And I promise you, you'll email me and tell me it was delicious. And it's 130 calories and it's good for you. So I'm trying to give you something good to eat that you can munch on like during the day at work or, just for a healthy snack or something like that. Not bad. Well, when you're watching the Knicks game, Junkless, check it out. There's a couple of different bars and I'll give you the other flavors when I get them. I told them to bring me some different flavors to check out because I liked it. I didn't even want to try it. When he brought it home tonight, I'm like, I'm not trying that. I tried it. It was really good. I said, I got to mention this on the show. So here it is. Here's the wrapper, Junkless. You can get it at a store near you. Check it out. It comes in like a box of like 6 or something like that. I don't know all the details. I'll get a box down here and check and show it to you. But check it out, Junkless. All right. For the Knicks, painless was the word tonight. A rather matter of fact, easy win. Easy as far as playoffs go, which sets up a great game 6. So think about it. You have another Nick night. The season doesn't come to an end. And now, you think of that Phil Collins song, One More Night. They used to use that for the, when I used to work at CBS, they always had these features during the NCAA tournament. And one of the guys were really good doing those features. They were great at it. And they always picked great music for it. They were classic that way. And I remember they did one on Ewing in his senior year in the tournament. And it was One More Night. I want to, have one more night. And that's where you are with the Knicks right now. Now you get one more night. And if you do it right, you get another night. And if you shock the world, You get to go play as a heavy underdog in the NBA Finals, and wouldn't that light up this city? Because you got the feeling the last couple of days, I did, that a lot of the Knick enthusiasm had been gone. That a lot of people, while they didn't say automatically, "Oh, Knicks are done," there seemed to be less enthusiasm. I was in the car today and I heard them say on the radio, there doesn't seem to be as much Knick intensity. And I kind of sense that too. And that's typical when you get off to a bad start in a series and, you think, oh, the math just doesn't add up. Hey, they're only halfway there. They had to win 4 out of 5. They've won 2 out of 3. They've already gotten rid of their margin of error because they lost their one game they could lose. Now they got to go to Indiana and win the game 6. I've gone with the Knicks on the road when they had to win a game and watched them win a game. And I remember one night when they won in Indiana, the Knicks were like yelling at us in the hallway saying, "You guys didn't think we could do this. You guys didn't think we could do this." Well, I think a lot of people did think they could do something in this series because they have shown they're not a great team. They got a lot of problems. They got a lot of problems on defense. They've had a lot of problem matching up in this series. But you know what? They have a tenacity. They have a resiliency. And they seem to be at their best when it's darkest, when they are up against it. And right now, they are flat up against the wall. Let's see how much fight they have left in them. We'll be with you Saturday after the game. Maybe even we'll do something going into the game too, just to kind of talk about where we are and stuff like that. But I don't think, like tonight, I thought he might put Hart back in and change things up a little. He didn't. So I don't think he's going to do that now, even though I'd like to see him do it. I think he's going to roll the dice. What you've seen is what you're probably going to get. Are the Knicks capable of winning that game? Yeah, they are. Is it going to be hard? Yeah. Are they going to face a very intense Indiana effort? Absolutely. The most intense they've faced the entire series. Well, what else would you expect in a game 6 with a trip to the finals staring you right straight ahead? Hey, this is what you dream about. Coming back and winning a series like this. Fighting in a series like this. And now they have a chance to play at least one more night. We'll see you later.